Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Reel Me In, a movie podcast, where you didn't really ask for it, but hey, I'm going to give it to you anyways. This is a podcast where I talk about anything, everything, and anything about movies. I'm your host, Chase Lee, and hey, guys, listen, if you were searching on the internet for some weird, insect porn, and you're into that shit, and you accidentally came across my movie podcast, and you're not a movie fan, well, hopefully I can convince you to be one. This is episode 152, guys. We are 4 episodes away from that 3-year anniversary mark. Fucking kill me. I'm kidding. I love you guys. It's just been a long time, and I cannot believe I've been doing it for 3 years. But this is episode 152, guys. And on this week's episode, and for this week and next week, there's not going to be any movie reviews because guess what? There's nothing but garbage out. I know it's fucking weird. Hollywood pumps out shit. So for this week, the main topic is going to be best and worst horror comedies, and next week is going to be movies that you should watch on Halloween, but we're doing this week first. And if you're new to the show, welcome once again. What we do is we'll go over some news, go over the trailers that dropped throughout the week, and then, of course, the main topic, box office results, and close the podcast out. But I am not alone. I am joined by a guest. I'm joined by comedian Adam Nutter, and he also has a podcast, Nerds with Words, right?
Nerds with Words.
Okay,
yeah.
I get super dyslexic sometimes. I was like, was it Words with Nerds? I was like, that doesn't make any fucking sense.
That actually is a podcast, but it's not
really?
mine. Mine is Nerds with Words. Yeah.
Holy shit. Okay, so I was not dreaming. So, anyways, welcome, Adam. How's it going, man?
Oh, thanks for having me on, man. Oh, just hanging out. And, know what's great about Skype calls? I don't have to wear pants. And I'm not, for real.
That is true. I am completely naked right now. I don't want to make Adam uncomfortable, but no. Yeah, thanks for coming on, man. Adam actually reached out to me first. I signed up for like a guest slot thing for like podcasts and whatnot. And when your podcast is on the newsletter, it's sent out, and people can comment on if they want to be guests. And I've done it myself. I've asked to be a guest on many people. I'm sure people looked at my podcast and was like, I don't want this fucking devil anti-worshiping person on here. Nah, I'm kidding. But I'm sure when people... Yeah, exactly. When people listen to my podcast, they're like, you need Jesus. And it's like, okay. All right, so... So Adam contacted me first, so I contacted him back, and now he's here. So Adam, these are my hardcore listeners, and they don't really know who you are. So explain yourself. What are you doing here? Who are you? Where are you from? And when you started your podcast? And
does any of us know who we really are? That's a very
actually no.
Question.
I've been questioning that for 26 years now.
No, man. I mean, like we were talking off air. Like I just got to, I'm not the best self promoter, and as a comedian, you kind of have to be nowadays. With the social media and whatnot. So so I'm from Staten Island, New York, and I live in Pennsylvania now, in Newtown. It's like 45 minutes outside Philly. Because I got married and I ruined my life, so there goes that. I have the podcast Nerds with Words. I do with my buddy Ryan Patrick. We do it every week, and the podcast is essentially me, my buddy Ryan, and whoever comedian friend I have. We come on and we just shoot the shit about everything, man. It's not just nerdy stuff. We just happen to enjoy comic books a lot and movies, so that's what we named the podcast. But we talk about everything: comedy, politics, social, whatever is going on in the news. And man. Also, I just got to promote my comedy and stuff because I suck at promoting. So here I am.
This is it. And just,
that's it.
I'm not even joking, guys. Just talking with Adam for a few minutes prior to recording. The guy's a funny dude. He's very sharp. So,
thank you, sir.
Whenever he gets his shit together and puts stuff on YouTube,
yeah, right?
I will put that link in the description. But for right now, I got his podcast, and hopefully you can bombard him and stuff, and be like, yo, fucking put your shit on YouTube. So
yeah, right.
So thank you for coming on, Adam, once again. And so so without any further ado, let's get started with some movie news, guys. There was a couple things that dropped this week. Not really a big news week or trailer week for that. Well, I take that back. It was a pretty big trailer week, and especially with me and Adam being comic book lovers. Oh shit, we got a lot to talk about. However, for the news, let's start with the Batman story, because for the longest time, we knew that the Batman was coming, starring Ben Affleck. It's going to be his first solo outing as the character. we never got really a clear view on when it was going to come out, and Warner Brothers was kind of keeping it in the dark, which is stupid because despite the divisive nature of BVS, Batman was the most successful part about that movie, and people want a fucking Batman film. So,
dude, that is beyond true.
Yeah,
I'm about to say something, and I know it's sacrilege, and I know a lot of people are gonna be like, "You're a fucking asshole." Superman as a whole sucks. I fucking hate Superman, and I'll tell you why I hate Superman. He is an unrelatable character, and I know what you're gonna say. So is Spider-Man. Not really. When you look at Batman, he's just a dude with fucking problems. He happens to be rich. Okay, yeah, I'm not rich. But if I put on an armored suit and went out and I could fight crime theoretically. You know?
Yeah.
Like, I don't... Spider-Man, yeah, he has powers, but he's like a nerdy kid from Queens who can't hold down a social life. That was me my entire... Now. That's me now. Like, you know, minus the webs. So, like...
the webs.
Fucking Superman, it's like, oh, kryptonite. Who the fuck has kryptonite? It's so stupid. Nothing could beat him. It makes it not fun. Watching an unbeatable character is unfun. Fuck him. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, no,
that's all I'm gonna say about Superman.
Listen, I'm not gonna bash you at all because that makes total sense. I mean, the guy's a fucking god for God's sake. So it's like it's really hard to kind of connect with that. But I think a lot of people will say, you know, the whole, you know, like home farm town feel of, you know, living in Smallville and growing up that way. I get it, but I mean, Adam's right. I mean, he is a guy. It's kind of hard to relate to someone like that. That's pretty much beatable. So, but
yeah,
as far as the Batman film goes, I think Joe Manganiello is probably going to get his ass kicked by Warner Brothers because he let this slip. If you don't know who Joe Manganiello is, he's going to be playing Deathstroke as the solo villain in the solo Batman film. And he let it slip that they're starting production in March of next year, which is super exciting because if they start shooting in March, that means they can probably nail like a fall time of 2018 slot, which is perfect because BVS came out this year in 2016, and I think a 2-year gap between BVS and a Batman film is perfect. If you wait any longer, people are going to fucking pitchfork in the streak, and they're going to want to, you know, go to Warner Brothers doors and be like, what the fuck, man? Why are you doing
I totally agree with you.
Yeah,
and I also think good casting.
Yes.
And Deathstroke, fucking perfect.
Yes.
Another dude who's not, you know, overly... He's just the evil Batman, really. Mm-hmm. If you think about it.
Yeah, no,
I mean, he has, like, I know he has, like, a little bit of, like, you know, heightened senses and healing ability or whatever. Okay, big fucking deal. It's essentially Batman, but, you know, a little older.
Yeah, and that's what, when the news dropped a few weeks ago when I was on my show, I said that this is perfect. Because if you have a man going up against Batman, just a simple man, just like Batman, it makes it more grounded. It makes it more realistic and gritty versus like if Batman was facing a god. Because guess what? We already saw that, folks. In BVS, the guy was facing fucking Doomsday. Fucking Batman cowering behind a rock with a gun, and he's just like, I'm going to kill this monster. I was like, no, you're not. You're going to get fucking crushed. Watch yourself, Batman. So...
exactly.
Yeah, no, I think this is great news. I think if Warner Brothers hits this time slot perfectly... they can have their movie released in 2018, and that is perfect for that kind of fall Halloween time for Batman. Beautiful. So, Joe Manganiello, thank you for letting that slip that they're going to be filming next March. So,
I also think Ben Affleck is a pretty good Batman.
No, he's fantastic. I think he's the best one that we've had.
Bruce Wayne.
Well, I mean, what do you got, Adam? Who's your favorite?
I'm still going to say Bale.
Okay.
But my second is because I'm not gonna throw second to Affleck yet. I want to give him more than one movie. I think he's really good, but my second, Michael Keaton.
Michael Keaton's very good.
Yeah, I mean, Batman Forever and Batman and Robin. I was a kid, but even as a kid, I wanted to slip my wrist. Those movies were terrible.
Yeah, no,
they were so bad.
It's very hard to watch them now, especially when we have like the dark and realistic kind of gritty take on Batman, especially with the Nolan trilogy. So,
I know.
Adam, I have to ask you because a lot of people are divisive on Batman versus Superman. What did you think of that film? And did you see the extended cut?
I did. It didn't make it that much cooler.
Oh,
it made it a
damn.
little cooler. But, I mean, listen, Batman was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Lex Luthor sucks. I already don't like Superman. Now, when I say I don't like Superman, I hate the character. I think Cavill is actually a pretty goddamn good Superman.
Mm-hmm.
He looks just like him.
Yeah.
Like, if I was to make Superman, like, a mold of Superman, I would make it out of him. Like,
Okay.
he looks like the perfect fucking Superman. What's her face? Gal Gadot for Wonder Woman? She was okay. Who gives a shit, though? I mean, whatever. She was barely in the movie. I know she made the cool little, fight against Doomsday, but I'm a huge Flash fan.
Okay.
So, like, seeing the little Flash cameo was pretty fucking cool. And that got me excited. Aquaman, I mean, do I have to? I mean, do I have to start insulting Aquaman? We all know Aquaman sucks.
It looked
They
like
could
he was
make
in a
him cool
hair
with
commercial.
tattoos. He's still going to suck. Yeah, exactly. Aquaman by Patine or whatever the fuck it is. Suave. Shut up. You suck.
Hair does not move like that underwater, folks. I can just tell you that right now.
Yeah, right. And, like, that was funny, too. He was clearly holding his breath, even though they tried really hard to make him not look like he was holding his breath.
Oh, it was incredible.
Notice that?
It was incredible.
That made me laugh.
So that's really interesting because I mean I'm in the minority, Adam. I actually thought the theatrical cut was fine. It was a fine cut, and I thought the extended cut was actually better, filling in those loose plot holes and kind of expanding on some of them. And I think that extra 30 minutes really kind of did something better for it. But hey, that's my opinion. Like I said, I'm in the minority. Adam is like with 90% of the people in this country that fucking hated that movie. So it's like I get it. So it's not for everyone. But
Hey,
anyway.
all I know is Batman was murking motherfuckers in that movie.
Oh man, he was
Very opposite of Christian Bale's "I don't kill." You know?
No, that's whole Batman's mantra is that he doesn't kill and he breaks bones and whatever. But I actually was okay with it. I mean, when you are getting older as this person, you're going to be more psychologically damaged, and I think you're just going to have a couple screws loose when people close to you die. So I was okay with the killing. That didn't really bother me.
Totally, I agree with you too. I just think it's funny because it took
for sure
such a stark turn.
Well, no, because what's funny is like in BVS, like all of his killings were like super violent. I was like,
super violent,
man. I was like, could you like ease it up a bit?
Well, he broke that dude's neck on a crate. I was like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah,
well,
no.
If you read the Frank Miller books, the novels,
yeah,
which of course I did because I'm a fucking nerd. He was murdering people on that too. So I mean, they really didn't stray that far from the book.
Yeah, I read the Dark Knight Returns, and that was like one of the few graphic novels / books I've ever read in my life because America. So I remember reading that graphic novel, going, "Damn, this is going to make a pretty interesting movie." And then I remember they actually announced it like a month later at Comic-Con. I was like, "Okay, now I'm totally down for it." Yeah, so that's it for that news. And speaking of Batman, Adam, we have Kevin Costner who played Superman's father. He is going to be joining Molly's Game. Now, Molly's Game is going to be the directorial debut of Aaron Sorkin, the awesome writer from like Steve Jobs, Social Network, The West Wing, The Newsroom. So Kevin Costner is going to be joining that cast, and he's going to be joining like Jessica Chastain, and it's going to be directed by Aaron Sorkin. Adam, I have to ask you, since I've never met you, so it's I gotta know. Are you a fan of Aaron Sorkin, and are you interested in seeing a directed film by him? And do you think if this film is delivered correctly, do you think it could be like an Oscar contender?
Well, I do like Aaron Sorkin.
Okay.
First time director, you never know. He could hit or totally miss. Now, the premise of the movie sounds pretty cool, with the whole former Olympian making like a gambling ring. That's cool. I'm gonna say something else that might piss a lot of people off, but fuck it, I don't care.
We're on a roll.
Fucking Kevin Costner stinks. I know.
Wow.
You cannot name 5 good Kevin Costner movies. Go ahead, do it right now.
I can't.
Name 5 good Kevin Costner movies. If you say Waterworld, I'm gonna punch you in the face.
What are you talking about, Adam? I want a Waterworld too. No, I'm not gonna disagree with you. I think you're right. I haven't seen that many of his films, so I can't really say that. But from the stuff I have seen, I think it's got potential. And I think if Aaron Sorkin can be one of those... I mean, Aaron Sorkin, he's one of those writers who's actually on set. Like, he's never, like, not on set. So
right.
I think with, like, working with Fincher and, hell, even working with Danny Boyle and Steve Jobs, I think he's actually probably got a better grasp of directing than most actors turn directors or writers turn directors.
Oh, I agree with that.
So yeah. I think he could probably turn a good performance out of Costner. I think with him joining Chastain, I think it could be a good one if it was delivered correctly, you know?
Oh, he might do a great job, but Kevin Costner is going to take me out of the fucking movie.
You're gonna pop up on screen and you're like, oh, God.
I'm going to name the 4 movies, okay? And I have this debate all the time, okay? Dances with Wolves, Field of Dreams, The Untouchables, Bull Durham. That is it.
Yeah.
And I'm giving him The Untouchables, even though... really, that was Sean Connery and Robert De Niro who made that movie better. But I'll give it to him because he was Elliot Ness.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I fucking hate Kevin Costner.
Yeah, Kevin Costner to me, like, he's kind of like an enigma. It's like he's just in movies, and like, yeah, he's got a pedigree, he's got an Oscar and stuff, but like, you're right. Like, no one really talks about him as like being the best thing about the movie and whatnot. I think he's I think he's serviceable in everything he does, and I think he can be good in some things. I actually kind of liked him as Pa Kent in Man of Steel. But, I mean...
yeah, but that was such a side role. I mean, how do you fuck that up? Don't use your powers, son. Watch me die in a tornado. Great job. Wow, actor of the year. Come on.
Once again, I'm okay with that scene. But, with Kevin Costner... I think Aaron Sorkin can probably pull out a performance kind of like... Adam, did you ever see... it's not really a good movie, but I thought he was good in it, and I thought it had potential if it was executed properly. Did you ever see Mr. Brooks?
No, I know it. I never seen it.
Yeah, he's actually a pretty convincing serial killer. It's just in a very awkward and very badly executed movie, but I thought he showed a lot more chops than he has in the past, like, 10 years in that film. So, I don't know. Maybe Aaron Sorkin can bring something out of him that we haven't seen yet, and maybe he can make Adam a fan, and he can... I have no clue. So, so that's it for...
I mean, even if Mr. Brooks was good, or whatever movie, they can have a movie where it's like, you know, in a world where bounty hunters rule the land, and I'm like, oh, and then starring Kevin, and like, it just... like, I'm out. I'm over it. As soon as I hear Kevin Costner, I'm done.
I can't wait for that one movie that's just like, did you guys ever want to see like aliens and robots versus like the Transformers, G.I. Joe, and like everything mixed together? And you're like, oh, okay, I can get behind this. And it's like, story, Kevin Costner. And you're like, oh, God damn it.
I know. It's like, well, now I can't. I just will never watch it.
I just can't.
I can't do it.
Hey, man, that's totally respectable. You can't. I don't expect you and I to agree on everything. So, that's it for that piece of news. And the last piece of news, I got to get Adam's take on this because this is interesting. It's very, very bad timing if you want to put it that way. But the news is that David Hyman, who produced, I think, I want to say all 7 or all 8 of the Harry Potter films. Maybe not even until like Goblet of Fire, but he's produced a lot of them, and I think he's producing Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them as well. He has acquired the rights to kind of do a remake, if you will, or prequel or sequel. I don't know which way they're going to go with it, to a Willy Wonka in the Chocolate Factory.
It's a prequel.
Yeah. Okay, so here's the deal. I don't mind if movies are remade. That doesn't really bother me that much because if they're terrible, it's whatever. It's going to be like a fart in the wind. It's going to fucking just blow away and everyone's going to forget about it. However, I think what's really bad about this story is that Gene Wilder just passed away like a few weeks ago, and it feels very dirty. So, Adam, I want to get your take on it. Are you a fan? I'm assuming you got to be a fan. I mean, it's a classic. You a fan of the Gene Wilder, Willy Wonka?
Of course.
What do you?
Gene Wilder's the man. I love Gene Wilder.
What do you think about this news? Does it kind of just rub you the wrong way?
I mean, it's a prequel. You know, I mean, did you like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory with Johnny Depp?
Fuck no.
Terrible, right?
Yeah, I did not like it.
Totally agree. It sucks. They made him They made Willy Wonka like an emo in that movie. Like he was like an emo fucking very pedophile-y.
No, he was very Michael Jackson-y.
Very much, yes. I was like, instead of Augustus Gloop falling in the chocolate, I thought he was gonna fall in a fucking rape river. Holy shit. He was so fucking creepy. But Willy Wonka was like, Gene Wilder was like the perfect role. You know what I'm saying? Like he was. I don't know, maybe because he was the first one, but I think he nailed what. Let's be honest. Any adult male with a chocolate factory who lures children into it is creepy, but he made it less creepy than Johnny Depp.
He made it very playful and innocent. Like, it was very weird.
Well, I mean, Johnny Depp's chocolate factory might as well have been called Uncle Philly's Puzzle Basement. And you just fucking, you're expected to go in there and you're never seeing your kid again. That's exactly Johnny Depp's version of Willy Wonka, if you ask me. A prequel, I mean, what could it be? I'm telling you, I'm calling it right now. They're going to show where he found those fucking genetic deformities of Oompa Loompas from.
He went to an island, and there was just a bunch of little orange midgets running around.
Dude,
like,
you're kidding, but I guarantee that's what it is.
It's probably what it is. Like, he's probably going to go to some weird island in the Caribbean, and he's just going to... His boat's going to crash on the island. He's going to have an epiphany. He's like, oh, I should start a chocolate factory because he got his head knocked out. He's going to wake up and see these orange midgets, like, touching him, like, trying to care for him. He's like, oh, why don't you come with me back to America? And then, like, he kidnaps him.
Yeah, it's going to be a weird Gulliver's Travel.
It's like...
Wait a fucking minute. Wait a fucking minute. In the original Willy Wonka, didn't he say where he found them?
Did he?
Didn't he say, oh, they're from the whatever land?
Shit. If that's the case, then yeah, he definitely stole them.
Oh yeah, no, he 100% enslaved. He did what we did back to get slaves here.
So basically, he's doing slavery in like chocolate and candy form. So that's playful. Thank you, children.
You know the molasses to rum to slave trade?
Yeah.
It's more like the chocolate to creepy genetic deformities to chocolate factory trade.
Does it disturb you that we will never get the story of like the families that lost their loved ones from Oompa Loompa Island? It's like, can we like concentrate on the family of like the Oompa Loompa like wife and her Oompa Loompa children?
you definitely know the Oompa Loompa leaders definitely gave them up for something in return for Willy Wonka.
Probably.
Like you could take the warring Oompa Loompa tribe that we enslaved. You could take them, or like you could take our poor. You know, something funny's going on there.
Like,
for sure.
Can you imagine if it was something random like, Mr. Wonka, we look for the thing they call a goat, and it's like you just want a goat to like train all the people. It's like, yes, we want a goat, and it's like, okay.
But he has to play it up like, oh man, I can't get you a goat. Like he has to play it up like goats are just impossible to find.
Yeah, like they're extinct.
And be like, listen, I got you two. I took a lot of blood, but I got you two. And they're like, oh my god, please
like
enslave us. Right?
And they're all males, so you can't procreate.
Oh, they are all male. That's a good fucking point.
I know, right? It's like, here's all your males, so you can't procreate. Enjoy.
Oh, you want to hear another fucking good point I thought of? Just thinking about this?
Yeah.
You know how, like, throughout the levels of the factory, children's getting fucking wiped off left and right?
Uh-huh.
Do you realize when they get to the boat part, and it just, like, fits 4 people?
Mm-hmm.
That means he knew kids are going to get wiped out.
That's true. I never even really thought about that. That's really fucked up.
Right?
Willy
He wouldn't
Wonka.
know, like, yo, I'm dropping motherfuckers, and only the one kid and his creepy grandfather is going to make it.
Well, you know what's, like you said, Gene Wilder, he's just so goddamn charming. It's like, I'll let you lure me into your cave, so I'm okay with that. So,
right? I mean, if I had to get fucked in my ass in a shadowless room, a dark room, not shadowless, in a dark room, I guess Willy Wonka, I mean, he'd probably make it fun.
You're just like, well, if I'm in that scenario, he'd be like a top 3. It's like,
right.
You know, it's okay. It's okay.
Of course.
Yeah, but going back to the news, I'm not like totally against it. I think it's bad timing. I'm more curious to see what the hell they're gonna do with it. If it's gonna be like some weird trippy adventure, but I don't know. It's very interesting, but it's very, very, very bad timing. But
it's gonna be super CGI too.
Oh, I have no doubt. And if you're gonna make it, you know, not less like glossy, I guess, yeah, get real actors and put them in makeup like they did with the original. But
Right.
I'm not totally against the news. I'm just saying it's bad timing. But that is the news, guys, for the this week's episode. And guys, let's the appetizers are gone. Let's get into the meat of the trailers because we got a couple to talk about. They're fucking awesome. But we're gonna get through the let's get through the garbage one first. Then we'll do the good one, and then we'll do the comic book one. So the garbage one. Okay, so I think DreamWorks is on a bit of a slope, if you will. I saw Trolls yesterday at a screening, and not good. I think the only thing that they've done well, in my opinion, is the first Shrek, and I'm okay with it. They have a new one coming out called The Boss Baby. Alec Baldwin plays an infant that's dressed in a suit, and if you think I'm joking, if you think I'm like high right now, no, that is not the case. This is a real thing, and people pay money for it. The teaser trailer, it's like whatever. It's a kid's film. DreamWorks is going to go down the shitter. They're trying to be Pixar so much, and it's like, no, you're not. Can we just like calm down a little bit? So, Adam, did you watch this teaser, and did you throw up in your mouth as much as I did?
And this is why I can never just focus on anything. I'm pretty sure I have some sort of ADD, but I'll address my personal problems later. When I watched the trailer, they were playing "Stuck in the Middle with You," right, by Steelers Wheel.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that song for one reason. I think of Reservoir Dogs. When Michael Madsen is torturing the kidnapped
right.
cop. And all I thought was this kid finding out the baby could talk and shit and being, like, overpowering. And he just duct tapes into his high chair, turns on some Stuck in the Middle with You, and takes out the knife and starts fucking slow, creepy dancing and starts cutting off his fucking ear. You know, and then the baby starts to cry. He's like, hey, I don't care if you cry or tell me what you want to know or what I want to know. I just like torture. And he just starts sawing off his ear. That's all I can think about the entire trailer.
That would be a great fucking parody.
I wish I had an animation skill to do that.
Right?
I would make that in 2 fucking seconds. That is hilarious. In my head. I don't even care if anyone else finds that funny. That's for me. That one's for me. That's all I can think about.
No, I agree. Moving on. Listen, like I said, I think DreamWorks has the potential to do it, and I think they've done moderate hits in the past, but I think Shrek's the most clever thing they've done in terms of like taking that whole like unique kind of comedy spin on a fairy tale.
Oh, Shrek's great, yeah.
Yeah, Shrek's great, but yeah, everything else is just being like, whatever. So
isn't like Shrek 5 coming out?
Yes. And if they listen, I am totally down for it. I don't mind them going back to the Shrek well, and they said they're getting the writers of Austin Powers and like some other Shrek films, and if they get Mike Myers back, that's all I care about because I miss the guy.
Of course.
It's like come on, Mr. Myers, come back. I know you were in
Right.
Glorious Bastards for a cameo, and I know you were in a couple other things, but it's like we miss you as a culture, as a people. So
I want to see Austin Powers 4.
Oh, yes, me too. I fucking love that franchise. That's what I'm saying. Like, Mike Myers, you have 2 franchises to come back to. Do it. All right,
Yeah,
so
do it.
the next trailer I want to talk about, I'm really, really fascinated and really curious with this one. This one's called The Cure for Wellness. Now, honestly, I don't really know much about it, and I honestly don't want to read the plot synopsis, but I can tell you this. Stars Dane DeHaan, great. It's directed by Gore Verbinski, who did the American version of The Ring, which I actually think is better than Ringu, which I know is very controversial for some people. And he also did the Pirates of the Caribbean trilogy and Rango. This one, holy shit, where did this movie come from? I remember someone was sending me a link to the trailer and like, you gotta check this out. And I was like, it looks like every generic horror film. No, it does not. What Gore Verbinski does very, very well, if you look at the Ring film or if you look at Rango, the guy's a visual mastermind. He knows how to compose shots, he knows how to light shots, and he knows how to really kind of entice you with creepy imagery and just kind of really kind of get under your skin with not really knowing much about the movie. And that's what this trailer does. I thought it was really masterfully crafted in terms of cinematography and mood and atmosphere. I'm actually looking forward to it now. Really, like I said, don't really know much about it. I know it's like it takes place in like I believe like a medicine corporation, and Dane DeHaan tries to go find someone, but honestly, I don't really want to know because the visuals enough were captivating for me to go see it, and intrigues me the most, especially since I really do like the first Ring, and that's it. So Adam, what did you think of the trailer? And have you seen the American version of The Ring? And do you like Gore Verbinski's kind of visual style?
The trailer was really cool. I thought it was pretty fucking cool. I don't know what's going on, but like you said, just to parrot you, it's very intriguing. You're like, oh, but what's the thing in the tank? Like, you're like, what's going on here? Like, I want to know. I think it's gonna be. I mean, hopefully it's cool.
Yeah.
I think it's gonna be cool. The Ring was a pretty classic horror movie.
I love it. I think
Dude,
it's actually
that movie still freaks me the fuck out.
It's great.
I'm 30.
It's one of the creepiest PG-13 horror films I've ever seen.
Yes. Oh, hands down, dude. Yeah. Fucking hands down. I like Dane DeHaan too. I think even though he was kind of, it wasn't his fault, but they kind of sillied him up in Spider-Man.
Oh, that's not his fault. I don't.
But he was still good.
Yeah.
That movie sucked, but he was still good. And what was that other movie he was in with Michael Jordan and not the basketball player, the actor, and they were flying around. They got the powers from The Rock. You know what I'm talking about?
Shit.
Man.
Michael B. Jordan and Dane DeHaan. When were they in a movie together?
Yes. Hold on. God damn it. I got IMDb it.
That's okay. We're doing this live, folks, so this is what happens. Dane DeHaan's really great. Ever since I saw him in The Place Beyond the Pines, I was sold.
Chronicle.
Oh, yeah. Chronicle was fucking dope. Anyways, continue, Adam.
Yeah. I like that. I mean, that movie was kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
It was different. So that was cool. And so I think The Cure for Wellness is going to be pretty cool.
Right? It's one of those films that, like,
sure.
It's one of those films, like, when you look at the thumbnail or the title, you're like, God, this looks like garbage. But then it's like, when you watch it, it's like, oh, shit, right. Gore Verbinski, where the fuck have you been at?
It's really good. Yeah, it looks really good.
Yeah, I enjoy it.
I'm excited for it.
Yeah, so that's it for that trailer. Now, guys, just prepare yourself. For the next, 5 to 10 minutes, we're going to get super sweaty and super nerdy, so just bear with us. Since Adam is the guest, I'll let him go first. Adam, would you like to gush over the Logan trailer first or Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 teaser trailer first?
Let's do Guardians first, because Logan, there was more to it.
Okay.
Guardians was quick.
Did you... Tell me your thoughts on the first Guardians real quick, and were you looking forward to a sequel, and what did you ultimately think of this teaser?
Well, the thing about the first movie was, again, to reiterate, I am a hardcore comic book fan. So I knew who they were. When they first announced the first movie, I was like, no fucking way is this gonna land, because they are such an obscure group of characters. As in, they're not Spider-Man, they're not the Avengers, so on and so forth. I'm like, Marvel and Disney are doing this for fucking cash because they could put out Groot and Rocket Raccoon plushies everywhere, and they're just going for money. Then the movie came out, and I saw it. And at the time, I was like, this is the best Marvel movie I've seen so far.
Wow.
At the time.
Yeah.
I thought that. I always liked Chris Pratt, and he was amazing in that. He's a fucking perfect Star-Lord. Batista, hilarious at Drax. He's this fucking monotone, not getting innuendos and sense of humor and stuff. Bradley Cooper, love Bradley Cooper anyway, so he's a great Rocket. Zoe's Saldana, Gamora, and I mean, Vin Diesel just says I am Groot, but I mean, how much you can really go off that? But I love Guardians of the Galaxy, so I was like, well, these next 3 movies are going to be awesome, So when the teaser trailer just came out, everybody's going ape shit over Baby Groot or Toddler Groot, whatever you want to call him. Toddler Groot, and it was short, but I'm like, oh, this is going to be awesome. Kurt Russell's Peter Quill's dad. That's awesome. Kurt Russell's the man. It's gonna be good, dude. There's no way it's not gonna be good.
Yeah, no, I'm super stoked for it. Like you said, Well, I was on the opposite coin. I had no idea who the Guardians were, and I was like, hey, listen, they're going to take a risk, and if it doesn't work, they're going to retract a little bit. But if it's a huge hit, they're going to do weirder shit, like a.k.a. Doctor Strange, and they're going to try different properties and different characters to kind of explore their catalog a little bit more. And I remember walking out of Guardians of the Galaxy, I was like, fuck, Marvel? That was so much fun. Like, you can't help but, like, not smile and, like, be giddy throughout the entire movie. It was like a colorful space opera. It was something so different than what Marvel has done. I'm a huge fan of the whole MCU so far. I think all of the movies are at least good. Some of them are not as good as others. I acknowledge that. I'm not a purist or anything. I'm not like all of them are so great. But as far as Guardians goes, that was a huge mega hit, and I remember just watching in the theaters, and I enjoyed myself. I loved the humor. I loved all the relationship between the group itself. Rocket Raccoon and Groot were fucking awesome as a duo. Yeah. For when this teaser came out, it puts you right back in. It's like it's going to be a visual spectacle. It's going to be so great visually. It looks like it's going to expand the story even more. I don't know how the fuck they're going to do Kurt Russell, because he plays Ego, the living fucking planet, which I know he plays a planet, guys. So I don't. But then again, Guardians of the Galaxy has a talking raccoon in a tree. So that doesn't really. Very true. Yeah, it doesn't make it weird at all. So I think the teaser did just enough to intrigue you. There wasn't anything told about the story, which is great. It was just showing you all the visuals and basically an announcement going, hey, you remember that group you liked in 2014? They're back. And we're going to get like a full-length trailer probably in, I want to say that, that's actually a good question. They'll probably drop a full one either before Rogue One or probably around Super Bowl. So since Disney owns Lucasfilm and Marvel, I think that would be perfect if they dropped a full-length trailer either before Rogue One or around Super Bowl time. But either way, teaser, great stuff. I cannot wait for it. So, so that one is for that trailer. So, Adam, let's talk about good old Logan. I'll go first on this one, and I'll let you do your thing. I loved it. I thought this is the perfect end to Hugh Jackman's Wolverine. Now, Adam, revealed his age earlier in the show. I'm a bit younger than Adam, however. I did grow up with Hugh Jackman's Wolverine. I remember 2000, first X-Men. I was 10 years old, and holy shit, was I blown away, because I was like, I have no idea who this fucking guy is, but he captures Wolverine perfectly. So, I think with this one, for Logan, I said this before, and I'll say it again. First of all, two things about it. I think it is extremely ballsy for 20th Century Fox to not put X-Men anywhere in the title. I also think it's ballsy to put that R rating on there, because it will restrict some of the core movie-going audience that you're going to kind of go after. But when you have a successful hit like Deadpool, it kind of gives you a little bit more leeway to do the R rating. For those two things going for it, I think this trailer was perfect in telling you that, hey, this is going to be a movie to really focus in on the character in his last legs in life. But yes, there's still going to be X-Men stuff. We saw a couple shots of him popping out his claws and attacking people, and that awesome fucking shot in the Red Band trailer where he slices up that guy's head with his claws. Great stuff.
Yeah, that was sick.
That shot is basically there to show you that, yeah, this is rated R, folks. As far as the trailer goes, I thought it was very emotional. I thought there's going to be a lot more to it than most X-Men films. I love the fact that Professor X is in this, and we're going to see kind of his last legs as the character, too, because people keep forgetting that Patrick Stewart also said that this will be his last time as Professor Xavier, so this is a film for both of them to kind of end out on. I have no idea how it's going to end. I think it's probably going to end with some death, but the cool thing about this trailer is a full-length trailer, unlike Guardians. However, with Guardians, you don't know much about it. For this one, for Logan, there's a lot more questions raised than there are answered. Why are the mutants all suddenly gone? Why is Professor X in this weird fucking alien bed in this weird warehouse? I mean, there's a lot of stuff in the trailer that kind of raises questions, but I love that. I love not knowing anything about it, but just knowing that it's going to be an emotional kind of journey through both of these characters, and they're going to have like this weird kind of spiritual road trip together. And I think that's all you need to know. And I think just tonally and just the way it looks cinematography-wise is so different than Wolverine, and it's done by the same director. So I'm like, I don't know what. Maybe that R rating told him that he could do whatever he wanted. Maybe he wanted to push the limits in terms of the way it looks. So either way, I think the mysteriousness about it gets me. I love the fact that it's going to be kind of an emotional end for both of these characters. I think it looks way better, like, visually than the other two, and I like the Wolverine movie, the one in Japan. Didn't really care for the last 20 minutes, but I thought it was solid. And no one likes the origin movie, but, you know, we digress. But so yeah, I really love this trailer quite a bit, and I think James Mangold said it best. He's gonna try to create the best non-superhero looking superhero movie ever, and I think this is the route to go for it. Because if you watch that trailer, there's literally, I think, like 2 shots of him popping out his claws. The rest is all dialogue driven and character driven. So I really do appreciate that. So, Adam, it is your turn to take your last name into consideration to nut all over this trailer because it is fantastic. So yeah, take it away. And did you like the 2013 Wolverine? And
no,
really. Oh, okay.
The only reason there was a giant robot samurai was so he could fight Wolverine with claws and a sword. That's the only. That movie sucked. I didn't like it. It was a storyline in the comic books though. It's not that they just pulled it out of nowhere. That was a whole thread. I just didn't like it. And yeah, Origins was the fucking worst movie ever. With this though. Old Man Logan, that's what they're basing this off of. It was a 4-book miniseries, which I own. Old Man Logan was good, and I was excited for the third, installment of just Wolverine. So when I saw the trailer was out, I was like, "Oh, watching this shit." Now, 9 Inch Nails is my favorite band. I've seen them in concert like 4 or 5 times. Okay, the song playing the whole trailer is Hurt, covered by Johnny Cash. They use the Johnny Cash cover, okay? So that drew me in right away, because that Hurt's is 9 Inch Nails' probably most famous song, I would say. So I think them using Johnny Cash covering it, because that was like Johnny Cash's last song that he put out, that he, covered, and he was dying. Johnny Cash was dying when he covered that song. And I think the old raspiness in his dying voice for the Old Man Logan was fucking perfect, I think, for the trailer. As far as the R rating goes, fuck little kids. I have a kid. I don't give a shit. Fuck them. Listen, I'm sick of, superhero movies have to be nice.
No, they
don't. Does anybody read comic books?
They're
Wolverine is a brutal fucking character. He kills people all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I could show you 1,000 comic book pages of Wolverine soaked in enemies' blood. He doesn't give a fuck. That's who Wolverine is. He's a violent dude. Stop trying to make him not violent. It doesn't work. That's just whatever. I'm digressing, but I'm glad it's rated R.
Mm-hmm.
The Johnny Cash cover is a fucking great trailer song. And you didn't talk about the little girl. You know who the little girl is, right?
X-23.
X-23, it's his fucking clone.
So basically,
so that launches a whole other fucking franchise.
Yeah, this is basically it's an endpoint for Hugh Jackman, but it's also a starting point for X-23.
Yes, it's awesome. And Professor X totally dying. That scene where he's holding the shovel, guarantee he just buried him.
He's totally
guaranteed. Totally fucking dead. The villain, God, can't think of his fucking name. The dude with the robot hand.
Well,
whatever. He's a villain. I know him from the comic books. I can't think of his fucking name. It's really bothering me. Not important. That's gonna be cool. But you're right. It doesn't look from the first trailer. It doesn't look like an overbearing superhero movie, which I like.
Yeah, it's different.
I like the fact that it's like, hey, this is gonna be some gritty, serious shit. Plus some cool adamantium claws getting thrown in the mix. Dude, he popped that guy's skull like a fucking push pop.
It was so great.
I was like, yes. that's Wolverine.
Yeah, that's him.
I don't know who that guy is, but he's like, fuck this guy. Bam, right in his fucking head. That's what Wolverine is. I think the problem that X-Men did, and I'm talking about like the franchise and Fox doing this, is they fuck with the timeline so much. Like, what was X-Men 3, The Last Stand?
Yes.
When they're like, yeah, we're killing everybody. Like, Cyclops, you're dead. Professor X, you're dead. And they kill everybody off. And then Days of Future Past, where they changed everything. And they brought everything back. And now in this, everybody's dead again? I don't know if they fuck with the timeline again, or they're going off the comic book. I don't want to give too much away, because a lot of people don't read the comic book. And I don't want to just start spouting off comic book shit that might be in the movie. So I'll leave it at that. But it looks really good, and I'm really excited for it.
You know what's really funny is that, like, someone I work with, he's a huge DC fan, and I like both. I'm not a fanboy of either one. I like Marvel and DC, but he's not really a huge fan of comic movies in general. But when he watched the Logan trailer, he's like, I actually really want to watch that. Like, that's what's cool about it, is that you're right. It doesn't really have like that superhero flair to like what most trailers and movies have nowadays. It's more quiet, and it's more, like I said, character driven and stuff. And I think it's going to really kind of push a different audience into the superhero genre, which is exciting, because
yes.
When the superhero genre expands, that just gets me excited, because that means they continue to make more of these movies. So I am curious to see how the R rating is going to do. And Adam is right. If you read Wolverine in the comics, he is fucking brutal. And what this movie is going to show me is that they are not going to restrict anything. They're going to go for it, which is great. I understand business, PG-13, more money, yada, yada, yada. I get it. If Deadpool was not successful, folks, this would have never happened. And they would have made it PG-13 again. But since Deadpool proved it wrong with a $40 million budget making over $730 million worldwide,
crazy.
20th Century Fox is like, okay, we'll take the gamble on it. But like I said, it's not even just the R rating. It is the fucking title. X-Men is nowhere near the title. So it's like, you could look at Logan and be like, oh, what is that? Like some indie art house pick about some guy going through the desert to bond with the camels or something? I have no fucking clue. So, yeah, listen, me and Adam are in tune to this stuff, but I'm really curious to see what the 99% movie-going audience is going to think when they see just Logan. I wonder what they're going to think, and I wonder if they're going to think if it's a X-Men film, if it's going to whatever. So I'm curious to see how it does, but I think if they do it right, it could be a really great closure to this character, and I think it's going to really have a lot of legs in the theater. So I'm looking forward to it. Adam's looking forward to it, and we both just nuttered all over this place. So, Adam, I'm totally having fun with your last name, by the way.
That's cool. I've been hearing my whole life. Can I do a really quick Deadpool rant?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Again, hardcore comic book fan here. I collect comic books. I get my comic books every week, but I also collect like key issues, and I have like I get them CGC graded. And I don't know if you or anybody else is listening know about CGC grade, but that's like the purest grading company there is to grade comic books. So the higher the grade, the more valuable the comic book, so on and so forth. And I've been a Deadpool fan since a kid. From the mid-'90s when Rob Liefeld first put him on a fucking cover of New Mutants 98, which I own, okay? I own that fucking comic book at 9.2 grade, okay? Deadpool comes out, everybody jumps on the fucking Deadpool bandwagon. Fuck everybody. I've been a Deadpool fan forever, and then I get lumped in the category of, oh yeah, you like Deadpool? It's like, yeah, I like Deadpool since 90-4. Like, that's it.
No, hey, listen, I'm totally with you. I'm kind of like, I know this is like completely off topic, but whatever. When I have a guest on, I can go off topic. It's okay. But I was born in 1990, and I was 10 years old when the Pokemon craze was booming, and I had the cards, I played the games, I dealt with everything. I used my cards to deal like I was in a fucking drug market at school. I was like, hey, you want a Charizard? You want to give me that card? And we're switching underneath the like lunch table or whatever. I was a hardcore fan. And then when fucking Pokemon Go comes out, everyone's jumping on it as if it's the best thing. It's like, motherfucker, it has been around for decades. And you're just now saying that, like, well, this is, no, I've always been a fan. I will show you being a fan. You want to see something really fucking nerdy? I still have all my Pokemon cards in the original 150 form, so I don't want to fucking hear it. So I'm kind of like with Adam on that. It's like, because I'm not gonna stunt Adam. I never read comics as a kid. I am recently starting to gather and collect comics, so you can totally be pissed at me if I'm just like, yeah, Deadpool was fucking great, you know? I've always been a fan, you know?
I'm not mad at people who like Deadpool. I just hate people who act like, oh, Deadpool? Oh, of course I know about Deadpool forever. Oh, no. Really?
No.
Do you? No, you don't.
No, trust me. I knew of Deadpool. I just never read up about him. And to be honest with you, after seeing the movie, I was more curious about him and I researched it more. So, yeah, I'm not going to stunt. I'm not going to pretend like I fucking knew him before because I did not. But
that's fine.
I'm glad that movies like that, though, kind of get people interested in comics again and, like, start to research and whatnot, especially like what you said with Logan and the Old Man Logan storyline. I've never read the story, but I heard that that graphic novel was fucking awesome. So it actually gets me more pumped to go out and maybe purchase it or read it or whatever. So, yeah, that's the joy of good comic book movies. It gets people interested in the community. So that's it for the trailers, guys. Yeah, kind of a short trailer week, just like with the news, but we made it work. We expanded that conversation out to a good, healthy time. So the appetizers are out of the way, guys. Let's get into the main entree, the main course, if you will, for this week's show. We're going to be talking about our best or our favorite and our least favorite horror comedies. Now, I actually had to pull this up because I was really kind of iffy on some movies if it counted as a horror comedy. And here is what the definition of a comedy horror comedy says. Comedy horror is a literary and film genre that combines elements of comedy and horror fiction. Comedy horror has been described as able to be categorized under three types: black comedy, parody, and spoof. Because for the longest time, I thought to myself that spoof movies didn't really count as horror comedies. I thought, like, oh, they're parodies, it's a different genre. But according to this definition, it does count. And I guess if you really think about it, it kind of does. But when I get into some of my favorites, you realize that they're radically different than parodies. So I don't know. We'll just kind of openly discuss. Adam, I don't know where to start, man. Is there a horror comedy that you just really love watching? We'll just kind of springboard from there.
Well, okay, if that's the definition, the first Scary Movie then, right?
Yeah, that counts.
Okay, that one was good.
Okay. Yeah, I really...
Can I say Ghostbusters?
Does that count?
I don't know. Sounds like it.
I think
it's science fiction.
Right?
I think Ghostbusters is the best one ever.
Okay.
Did you ever see What We Do in the Shadows?
Oh, I fucking love that.
That's such a good fucking movie, dude.
Adam, I actually got broken up with that day, and I went to the theater, and I did a double feature. I did It Follows and What We Do in the Shadows, the best double feature ever. And I remember it was so late at night, and I was on the verge of, like, wanting to fall asleep in the theater, but What We Do in the Shadows was so goddamn funny, it actually kept me up, and I fucking love that mockumentary. It's so good. If you guys have not seen that,
so good. It takes place in New Zealand.
Yeah,
and it has like Jermaine Clement from Flight of the Conchords.
Yeah,
and I can't think of his name. Nah, it's not important.
The director.
Yes,
Taika Waititi.
Yes, that's it. It's a funny ass mockumentary. I love mockumentaries, like Spinal Tap and stuff. So,
great.
So this movie was so goddamn funny.
It was really clever. Like, because you think to yourself, like, oh, it's like, I don't know, a bunch of vampires living together, but like, no, they actually use humor, and kind of spin it in like that supernatural type of humor, and it actually works. Like, instead of werewolves, they're swearwolves. They might have a joke to where like, since it is a mockumentary,
werewolves, that's right.
Right, and like they shoot it like in interview shots and whatnot, and they might say like the name and like how old they are. There was one of them that was like, here's his name, he's like 1,000 years old, and like just like little things like that just like make you giggle and make you laugh. And it's
kind of like The Office, but vampire
with vampires basically. I'm so glad you brought up that one, because that one is definitely one that a lot of people saw within the film community, but not like a lot of average moviegoers. So yeah, if you're into mockumentaries, guys, please check it out. And I'm gonna throw one out there, Adam. Since you're a little older than me, I know that you know that I'm gonna bring this up. Evil Dead 2, man.
Fuck yeah, man.
Evil Dead, man. Like that whole franchise is so much goddamn fun around Halloween, and I love the Star Show Ash vs. Evil Dead, and that is a great continuation of the Ash character. But here's the deal: like Evil Dead 1 is great. I think it's a really great kind of underground, like low budget horror film.
Totally.
But number 2, it's like something clicked with Raimi and was like, I'm going to make it more comedic. And it's like, yeah, you should have done that before, because number 2 is by far the best one of the entire franchise, in my opinion, because I think it blends in kind of like that horror, over-the-top violence, and that comedy even better, because when you have like that over-the-top gore and violence, you're prone to laugh. Because when you watch the first Evil Dead, there's some ridiculous violent scenes, and you're like, am I supposed to laugh? Am I supposed to not? But at least Evil Dead 2 knows what it is. It goes for it, and just kind of goes balls to the wall. So that's another one I wanted to throw out. Adam, I have to ask you, because a lot of people are very indifferent to it. I actually really like the Evil Dead remake from 2013. What did you think about that one?
It was good. It's just not the same, I guess, you know?
Yeah.
It's one of those where it's like, it's okay, but if I'm gonna watch it, I'm just gonna go back to Bruce Campbell. You know,
hey, listen, that is totally understandable. I think they each have their own place. Like you said, Bruce Campbell adds such an amount of charisma and flair to that film. But when you look at the remake, I think things like the cinematography and the color correction on that thing is so much more palatable and so much more horrific than the original. That's what I like about the original more, or the remake more, is the way it looks. I think it's just like, it's even creepier, and it kind of looks like a really fucked up fairy tale versus like the first one where, you know, it's got like that low budget feel. I understand and stuff. So there's different elements of give and take that you can go in each one. Adam, is there another horror comedy that kind of sticks out to you as like one of your favorites that you like to watch?
I mean, like, I would say Ghostbusters too, but I just think Ghostbusters.
Yeah,
it's kind of cheating. Man, I think of more bad ones than I can good ones for sure.
Okay, then we'll get to that in just a second. I forgot to mention, just because it seems a little awkward jumping into this conversation, the reason why I wanted to do horror comedies is because the Medea movie came out this weekend, and that is a horror comedy, so that's why it correlates with that. I didn't want to see the movie, so I figured I'd just do this instead, because, you know, there's better movies out there. So I want to throw out another one, Shaun of the Dead. That is
shit, dude.
Yeah, that is a really
God
great,
damn it. That's
dry
a great fucking movie.
Horror comedy. Like, that was, I saw that in theaters, by the way. Like, when Simon Pegg was still new to the U.S., that movie came out, and it had a limited run in the U.S. because it was really huge overseas. And I remember watching it, I was like, this is such a different type of comedy, and I couldn't peg it, you know, no pun intended, but I couldn't peg on, like, what type of comedy it was. And as you watch it more and more, it's more of a dry comedy. It's not really raunchy.
Oh, it's very dry.
It's not really dark or whatever. Well, it is kind of dark, but it's more of like that dry British wit with like some really graphic, bloody violence. And I think for some weird reason, it just mixes in so well, and the script is so sharp, and the dialogue is so goddamn funny that Nick Frost and Simon Pegg, their chemistry is off the charts. And if you guys have not seen the Cornetto trilogy, with this one, Hot Fuzz, and The World's End, great trilogy. I think you'll laugh your ass off throughout.
I didn't like the Hot Fuzz, but I did like The World's End.
Okay, I mean, yeah, I'm actually on the opposite. I think Hot Fuzz is, I think it's funnier than The World's End, but I think I like The World's End as a whole in terms of story and characters.
Right.
But yeah, no. Hey, listen, I'm not going to fault you for that. At least we agree on two of them. But yeah, no. Shaun of the Dead, classic little zombie horror comedy, and it still holds up. Like, the movie's 12 years old, and I still still want to watch it occasionally. Like it definitely holds up. Another one, Adam. Did you watch Cabin in the Woods from 4 years ago?
Oh, sorry. I was joking, not because of you. I just I just didn't really sleep.
I am pretty boring, guys. It's okay.
With Thor, Chris Hemsworth, right?
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't sure if that was trying to be serious or not.
Okay.
But then like the whole part where like there's like a government organization and like they're betting on like the merman and shit. That was pretty fucking funny.
That was pretty good.
That was pretty fucking funny. Oh no, merman, and he gets killed by the merman.
I think the best was there was one guy that, and I'm not spoiling anything. This movie's 4 years old. This is your fault if you haven't seen it. But if you haven't seen it, like I'm not really spoiling anything. It's just a nice little moment. There's a guy that gets pinned down by a unicorn's horn. It's so funny because it's just like constantly like driving that horn into his stomach, like as he's being pinned to the wall. It's so funny. No, it's a really great kind of different spin and take on like the cabin in the woods, going back to like Evil Dead and stuff. That trope is played out so much, and so if you can do something different and kind of spin into this like spoofy type of deal, it makes it for a really fun experience. And I remember just enjoying the hell out of that movie, and also it's got some really great comedic moments from Franz Kans or whatever, I think that's his name. He plays the stoner in the movie. I thought he was really hilarious, but
you know what? I take it back. I used to hate that movie. I like that movie now. I never looked at it. I never looked at it from the point of a comedy.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a straight up comedy because it's I consider it a spoof on like pretty much every horror trope and like the cabin trope. I don't know. I just if you go back and rewatch it, I think you'll have more of a blast if you think of it that way.
Because now I'm thinking of all the like the scenes in it, and I'm like, oh man, like. That was kind of funny. Like I was really being a dick about it at first. I took it way too seriously. It's not. I should have just taken it for what it's worth.
Guys,
God damn,
listen,
I gotta watch the movie again.
Guys, listen. If Adam like just if we hang off of Skype and he like rants to his friends that I'm like the worst person ever, at least I'll feel good that I convinced him in something. I convinced him.
You flipped me. You fucking flipped me on Cabin in the Woods.
Perfect. Speaking of Cabin in the Woods and going on the tropes, Adam, gotta bring up Scream. Scream is a really fucking great spoof take on the slasher genre. Have you ever thought of it that way?
I've heard of it that way. I don't agree with it, though.
Really? You think it's a straight horror film?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think because... Is it really any different than Jason running around slashing kids' fucking faces off at Crystal Lake?
No.
There you go.
Well, and the reason why I consider it like more of a comedic trope on the slasher genre is that throughout the entire movie you have Jamie Kennedy basically describing the rules of horror and like what not to do in horror films, even though it does happen and whatnot. You also have Ghostface, who is bumbling around, fucking tripping all over the place, and that's...
Yeah, but you know what? I always like that, and I'll tell you why. These aren't trained fucking... They're just kids.
True, they're kids. Yeah.
If I put on a mask and ran around someone else's house, I'd probably stumble and fall too. That's why I hide in the closet like a professional.
You probably trip over their corgi or something. You're like, oh god damn you, corgi.
Yeah, right. And then I get killed by the police, and then that's not a very cool story. Now is it?
Yeah, it would end in 10 minutes. No, listen. I think of it more of it that way, but I think Adam and I can both agree it's a damn good horror film, regardless of what kind of what you want to think of it. Another one I want to bring up, Zombieland. Did you see Zombieland, Adam?
Oh fuck, man! You know I was racking my brain trying to think of funny comedy horrors, and I thought like 3. I have Zombieland. There's so many now that I'm not thinking about because my brain's in a fog. But yes, Zombieland was amazing.
Yeah, I thought the chemistry between Woody Harrelson and just the rest of the crew that made the movie. And plus, I'm not going to spoil it because it is pretty fantastic. It's got one of the funniest cameos I've ever seen.
Oh, I was just going to say it, but I'll let it slide.
It's so good, and the violence is over the top, and like I said, Woody Harrelson's character is so free, and he's very optimistic about everything, and he loves his fucking hostess treats. Like, there's just something fun about his character that you want to follow, and you're like, I want a whole movie about him. I'm super stoked for the sequel. When I heard about that, I was like, finally, Jesus! The first one came out in 2009.
How about Club Dread by the Super Trooper guys?
Okay, I'm glad you brought that up because I love Super Troopers. I think Beer Fest is pretty good. I actually like the Slam and Salmon. I didn't really care for Club Dread. I understood what they were going for. It was a spoof on the slasher genre and stuff.
I agree with you. I really don't like. I really don't like it either.
Yeah, it's like it's the weakest one they've done so far, in my opinion. I really hope they can bounce back with Super Troopers 2 coming out next year. But in terms of Club Dread, not really. Especially when you're coming off the heels of such a classic like Super Troopers, it's like that's such a disappointment. But that would be under kind of my like kind of worse ones. But I just want to do a couple more good ones, then we can get to some of the worst ones since we're bringing it up.
I just thought of two.
Which two?
Gremlins.
Yes.
I'm not going to say Gremlins 2. I'm just going to, as a franchise, Gremlins.
Yes.
And maybe I might take Ghostbusters out of number 1 here. Young Frankenstein.
Young Frankenstein is a great fucking pick.
That counts, right?
I would consider that, yeah, because it's a spoof on monster movies and Frankenstein in general. So I would consider it a horror comedy.
Then that's the fucking best one ever.
Oh, listen, if you guys want an easy introduction to Mel Brooks movies, I would say either watch Young Frankenstein or Spaceballs first. And if you can tolerate those two, then go to Blazing Saddles and maybe like History of the World Part 1. But I would say those
Robin Hood Men in Tights.
Yeah, Men in Tights is really good too. But would you say that like Young Frankenstein's like a good like introduction course to Mel Brooks?
Yeah, dude. It's pretty amazing. I mean, Gene Wilder again.
Mm-hmm.
Peter Boyle, Madeline Kahn, the Nazi from The Producers. He's the constable. That movie is so goddamn funny, dude, and it still holds up.
It does. Like
a lot of movies lose their hold up credits over time.
Like
that one is still solid.
I like no one that's listening. If you've never seen it, you're not going to get it. But I know Adam's going to get it. Every single time I watch the movie, it still makes me fucking like crack up so much when he mentions the woman's name and you hear the horse in the background.
Yeah,
so it gets me every single time. So every time I hear that like name now, I just want this horse to like neigh in the background.
One of my favorite scenes in that movie is when he's like, I'm going to go in there and you lock the door. No matter what you hear or I say, do not let me out. And he goes in and then he groans and he turns around and says, let me out of this door right now, you son of a bitch, I'll kill you.
Yeah. It's so good. So good. Young Frankenstein is such a classic. I would actually put Young Frankenstein up in the classic category with like the original Frankenstein. Like that's how good it is. It's such a good spoof on that story. I want to bring up three more good ones, and we'll get into some of the worst ones because I know there's a bunch out there. These are kind of underground ones, or I'm going to do 2 underground ones that not many people have heard of, and then I'll do a popular franchise, and I'll end it with that, and then we'll go into the worst. I really enjoyed Tucker and Dale versus Evil. Adam, did you ever catch that one?
I did not. I saw it.
It's really funny.
I saw the trailer, but I never saw the movie.
It's a really kind of stylish, funny redneck versus zombie type of movie. I really enjoyed it. And then I saw one last year. I don't think many people saw this. I actually purchased a ticket to see it in theaters because I heard a lot of good things about it. The Final Girls, which was a really kind of interesting kind of creative take on Friday the 13th and like slasher movies and stuff. So essentially, if you guys have never seen it, there's a group of people who are going to a movie theater to see this classic slasher film, and it stars one of the girls' mothers. So that's where the tie is. There's a fire that happens in the theater and it kind of knocks them unconscious, and they actually imagine themselves in the movie. So they actually are in the movie from start to finish, and they know what's going to happen. And so every time when someone dies, they can reset it, and it goes back to the start again. I don't know. I thought it was really clever, and I'm not saying it's the best thing in the world, but I was really surprised when I saw it last year. So I thought it was it's PG-13 humor, so they don't really go there. They don't go across the line, but I still think it's entertaining. I thought it was a really kind of interesting take on slashers, like I said. And then I'm going to end with one of my favorite best comedies, horror comedies, You gotta go with the Chucky films. They're so entertaining. Like, Adam, are you a fan of the Child's Plays movie?
Oh, hell yeah!
Oh, it's so good. Like, isn't it really funny? Like when you watch the first three, they're horror, but when it gets into the Bride and the Seed and the Curse, it's more horror comedy. So I thought they realized that, hey, this is a killer doll. Let's kind of go there. So they're like, yeah, let's make it horror.
I was just gonna say the first two were like serious.
Yeah.
And then they're like, fuck it.
Fuck it, whatever. He has a bride now. We're going to go all out. Yeah, no, that is a classic. You want to just watch Brad Dourif voice a little doll and just, like, laugh your ass off. Like, everything he says is just, like, such an insult and, like, it's like black comedy. It's so good. So, those are some of the best ones, guys. So, Adam, we got to get
I thought of one more.
One more.
And
what
then,
do you got?
And then we'll jump off it. Have you ever seen Behind the Mask: The Rise of Leslie Vernon?
No. I've heard the title, but what is it about again?
It's essentially a mockumentary, and the serial killer allows like a student film crew, like from like a college, I think, or something like that, to follow him around and show like the work that gets put into like serial killing.
Okay.
So, like, you know, they'll follow him around and be like, yeah, there's a lot of preparation, like, you need good cardio and all this stuff. Like, it's pretty funny.
Is it on any streaming service?
Yeah, no, I haven't seen it in a while.
Okay, yeah,
but it's worth it. It's meant to be funny, but it's definitely worth the watch, I think. It's called Behind the Mask, The Rise of Leslie Vernon.
Okay, yeah, totally. I'll definitely check it out if you recommend it. I've heard of the title, but I've never heard it like in passing where people are like, yeah, that's pretty good, you should check it out. So yeah, everyone that's listening out there, check that one out and let me know how it is if you see it before me. So getting to some of the worst ones. Now, listen, if you want to have some easy targets, you could easily say like Scary Movie 4, the Haunted House fucking movies, anything that Marlon Wayans has done beyond Scary Movie. Most of the spoof movies nowadays are fucking awful. I would say like Club Dread. Unfortunately, that is a misfire. I gotta bring this one up because it is classified as a horror comedy and it is so bad. Adam, do you remember Tim Burton's Dark Shadows from a few years ago?
Yes.
It was bad. Like the humor was so stilted and it was trying so hard to be edgy, and it's like, stop it,
yeah.
Mr. Burton. Stick to your visuals. This is not working for you. So I would say that one. I'm trying to think of like some more, but I can't really. Maybe you can spark some in me like I did with you on the good ones. So what are some of the ones that just don't really work for you?
All the Leprechauns.
Really? Not even on a so bad it's good level?
Nope.
Okay. Fuck you, Lucky
all
Charms.
The critters. Well, I like Lucky Charms, you said?
Yeah, fuck you, Lucky Charms.
Oh, fuck you, Lucky Charms.
you remember that line from the first one, like right before Jennifer Aniston blasted
right. I do remember that. Hey, that was Jennifer Aniston's like first movie.
It was.
All of the Critter movies. Remember Critters?
I remember the first one, and I also remember that Leonardo DiCaprio's first role was Critters 3.
Yes. I was just going to say that. There's like 3 of them. They were all terrible. Zombie Strippers.
Ooh, that sounds like a good boner night.
What's her face was in it? Jen Jameson was in it.
Oh, okay.
Many loads have been shot to her early work. Tales from the Hood.
Well, yeah, that's a Leprechaun sequel.
No. Not that one. Instead of Tales from the Crypt, Tales from the Hood.
Wait, is this a real thing?
Yes.
What?
Please look it up.
Oh, Jesus. Well, keep talking and I'll IMDb it.
Tales from the Hood. Okay, remember Half-Baked?
Yeah.
Remember Samson?
Yeah.
Okay, that guy is like the main character, and essentially it's a black movie, and I don't mean black like genre. I mean like black as in like people. And I'm not being racist, as in Tales from the Hood. It's meant for that race, I guess you could say. And it stars that guy and like three like gangbangers like break into some guy's house, you know, and they think no one's home, but he's there, and he's like, "Hey," and they're like, "Oh shit," and he's like, "Oh, I have to tell you like stories or like 3 stories of like people being bad," and then it goes into like 3 different stories, and then it turns out like he's the devil the whole time, and like they're in hell.
Okay.
It's not good.
No,
but I've seen it like 5 times.
It sounds like a colonoscopy. That's what it sounds like.
There's one of the stories is a white racist politician for some reason in his house has a painting of one of the old slaves who used to live in the plantation, and she made like 100 like of these little creepy dolls, and the dolls from the painting, they come out of the painting, and they wind up like killing them. It's pretty bad, dude.
Yeah, it sounds like something I wouldn't even want to watch while drunk. So,
oh no, watch it for sure.
You're just like, no, I take that back. You need to watch it.
You need to watch it because it's so bad, but you gotta watch it.
Okay, yeah, I'll. Shit, if it comes across one night and I'm bored, I will definitely give it a go. I'm looking at the list right here from Wiki of all the horror comedies, and I'm trying to find like one that just kind of stuck out as like terrible.
Puppet Masters.
Puppet Masters. I've never actually. That's one of the few like slasher type of like old school films I haven't seen. Like, what is that one about? I'm assuming Puppet Masters.
Oh, shit! You put me on the spot. I just yelled it out because I remembered it. All right. The first one was evil puppets killing people for some reason. Don't remember what. Second one, the evil puppets are good now, and now they're fighting other evil puppets. That's what I got.
Okay.
Got nothing else to add to that. Yep.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I think I've heard of it because it was like one of those films. Like when I was a kid and I went to into a rental store, I would like see it and I just never picked it up. But you know what I wasn't a fan of, Adam? I was never a fan of the Piranha remakes. I know those were supposed to be like tongue in cheek.
Right.
I don't know. Those really never kind of grabbed me because here's the deal. I'm gonna say a movie right now and people are gonna be like, really, you like this one, but you don't like Piranha. I love Troll 2 because it's awful. Like it's actually like so bad it's good. But
wasn't that the worst movie like ever?
It was deemed as like top 5 like worst films ever or something like that.
Well, what was the one where it was the worst film ever and the guy's like a dentist in real life?
A dentist?
No, like the actor who was in the movie is actually like a dentist in real life, and it's considered like the worst movie of all time. And like he actually goes around and like flies around the country to like take awards for like the best worst movie ever.
Oh, that might be it then, because I know that
I think it is.
I think The Room and like Troll 2 are like the type of movies that like still screen around the country, and like the filmmakers and actors will like go and surprise people and stuff. Yeah, but no, it's so enjoyable because it's just so awful. But like, I just can't find enjoyment like in the Piranha films. Oh, dear God! Speaking of spoof movies, Adam, I don't think I didn't laugh as little as I did when I saw Scary Movie 5, and I was like, can they at least make it better than 4? No. There maybe was one.
I laughed harder at an abortion video than that movie.
Oh, it was bad. Like, there may have been one good laugh, and that was from Snoop Dogg, and that was it. Like, it was seriously the most flat comedy in terms of spoofs that I've ever seen. I sat in theaters. I sat in that whole damn thing and watched it. There was maybe one person in front of me. Even that person, I think that person was dead. I think the comedy killed him. And so, like, they didn't even respond. So, let's see. Looking at the list here. Oh, I know, let me ask Adam this because I've never met the guy, so I want to kind of throw this on him. Have you ever seen Cooties?
No, I didn't even know that was the thing.
I want you to go to whenever you get a chance, go to Walmart, Best Buy, or whatever, and if you see Cooties DVD or Blu-ray, turn it on the back, and you will see my quote at the top.
For real?
Yeah. That was my kind of like the pinnacle of my press career, is that I got contacted by the marketing company, and they put my quote on the back, and my name is on there and everything. So I was looking at the list, and I was like, oh shit, Cooties was a horror comedy. So
what was your quote?
I said it was funny, gory, and brilliant, and I still stand by that. I still think Cooties is a very clever horror comedy, because I was watching the whole thing, I was like, fuck, I wish I would have thought of this first, because like that's so genius to give these zombie children like this virus and have the teachers kill them. I thought that was a really clever horror comedy premise, and I really enjoyed it. So yeah, I figured I tell Adam that if he's around the town or whatever, and he looks on the back of it and he sees.
Oh shit! I gotta look out for that now. That's fucking funny.
And if you find her wherever, tell me, because I still think it still boggles my mind that shit's all over the country, and it's like that's fucking weird, man. I think my reviewing career is like done. Like that's the pinnacle. It's not gonna get any better than that. Like I'm
that was your man. If you're done from that, then me doing fucking clubs around the tri-state area over here in my comedy career, I'm fucking done then. Oh god.
Now, see, here's what's gonna happen within the next like 2 or 3 years. Adam's gonna become very big. I'm gonna contact him and be like, do you remember me? You were on my podcast one time. He's like, fuck off! I don't even know you, kid. And it's like, oh, okay. And I'm gonna
was funny. You and my son have the same name too.
Well, are you serious?
And you'd be like, remember Chase? I'm like, yeah, my son. Yeah, I don't know who you are though.
Perfect. I didn't know your son was named Chase, so that's
yes.
It was meant to be. This whole podcast was meant to be.
I'm gonna be a dick and be like, you stole my son's name. You'd be like, I'm older than him. Like, shut up, faggot.
Like, shut up, asshole. Here's a great one to end my worst on, and you can continue on. I recently saw this a couple weeks ago, but it came out last year. I found no fucking enjoyment in Scout's Guide to the Zombie Apocalypse. I thought it was going to be funnier than it was, but it was so boring. Adam, did you see that one or get a chance to?
I saw, I think, like 10 minutes because it happened to be on somewhere, and I wasn't really paying attention. It was on, and I was kind of looking at it, but not really.
Oh, it was bad. I couldn't take it. I was like, it was only an hour and a half, but I was like, oh, even the violence was boring. I was like, Jesus Christ. But that's all for the worst for me. Adam, is there a couple ones that stick out to you that you just really kind of fucking hate in the horror comedy genre?
Philadelphia. I'm kidding.
It's like that fucking AIDS movie, man.
Cabin Fever. Would that count?
Really? You didn't like Cabin Fever?
No.
Damn. Yeah, even as kind of like, I wouldn't say like a comedy. It's more of like a black comedy where it's like it's really dark and demented, but it's kind of humorous at some points. I don't know. I think I'm gonna say something very controversial, but that's okay. These are Halloween episodes, so I'll say it. I like Cabin Fever and Hostel 2. I think those are the only two good films that Eli Roth has done. I know that a lot of people fucking hate this guy. Understandably, I saw Knock Knock a couple weeks ago. Woof, was that bad? So
how about the first Hostel?
I thought the first Hostel was fine in terms of like gore porn, but the reason why I like the sequel the best is because it takes a look at the perspective of the buyers instead of the victims, and I thought that was interesting in terms of like a psychological level. So I don't know, I'm fucking weird like that. But did you like the Hostel movies?
They're okay.
Yeah, I mean that
was a good point about the second one. I didn't think of that.
Yeah, that's the reason why I'm glad they went that route, because I was like, oh, a sequel to this, it's going to be whatever. It's going to be just more gore porn. Sure, that might be fine for a little bit, but I like that perspective of, the fucking people go like, I'm going to pay $10,000 to hack this guy up. The fuck? I want to know your story. Like, why are you so fucked up in the head, son? So,
I gotta be honest. If I had that money, I'd probably do that too. I'd be the worst human being if I was rich. Like, good thing I'm not rich. I'd be a fucking savage.
I was actually thinking about that the other day, because someone asked this question since Westworld is on TV right now. If you had $40,000 a day, would you go to Westworld? I would. I would totally go to Westworld and like. I
would fuck and kill children, everything, whatever I can't do for real. I'm doing there.
And you know what the sad thing about what me and Adam just said is that our dark fantasies represent like true humanity, and it's actually kind of scary.
You know, I know I'm a piece of shit. Like, I have nothing positive to show my son in life. I'm an awful human, but I know that, so I have to pretend. I have to put on a show in front of him like I'm not an awful human.
Yeah,
because he's 5.
Yeah,
and he gets it. Like, you know, he gets shit, and he even looks at me sometimes like, dude, I'm like, I know, I suck. I know we wanted to. You got the shit out of that lottery, kid, of being born into this fucking disaster. I am.
So basically, like, even when your son's like 5, like he will like look at you and be like, Dad, you're taking it too far this time. You're just like, I know.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And like, even at him sometimes. I talk to him like an adult sometimes because I don't want to be stupid. Like,
yeah.
Like I like to I coach football on the side for fun because I'm a big football guy. I played my whole life, and I took him to practice with me one day, and I had my whistle, and I gave him the whistle to play with, and you know, like the little balls in the whistle.
Yeah.
Because obviously the air goes around it. I explained to him because he goes, oh, what's the ball for? I could have just said it's magic. Shut your face. But I fucking explained to him like the real reason, like, oh, because the air goes around it. And one of the coaches was like, he's 5. Say it's anything you want. I'm like, but I don't want it to be dumb. Like, I don't want, like, you know, like people did that to me when I was a kid. And I had to learn all my shit on my own. At least if I tell him the truth,
yeah,
and he'll have a little intelligence behind him. Because I'm a fucking mess, so at least I could give him. I'm smart, at least, or so I think.
Listen, I actually commend that. I think that's actually really smart parenting. On a side note, so Adam is actually parent of the year right here. So
that's the one good parenting thing I do.
no, it's like I would hate to like tell like my future children, God forbid, if I have like little Lees running around, but like if I had to like tell them anything, like I would want to be at least truthful, right? You figure that'd be common sense. So
yeah, well, people don't though.
No, it's funny. Like, you're right, because like, especially when they're around that age, like they can grasp shit. It's not like they're toddlers or infants. So it's like if you tell them, they'll fucking catch on. So yeah, no, that whole concept's weird to me. So welcome to the parenting podcast. We have this is not movies anymore. But no, yeah. So is there any more worse ones, or would you like to wrap it up, if you will?
I can't. The only one I can think of is Dracula Dead and Loving It.
Oh, Jesus. Okay, that's a great one to kind of end
that's
on.
Yeah.
I saw it on TV like a while back, and I was like, what is this? Like, I had to like question someone that was like sitting next to me. I was like, what am I watching? Like, what is life right now?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a great one. So yeah, but you know, guys, it doesn't matter what we have to say. What do you have to say? What are some of your favorite and least favorite horror comedies? Which ones do you like to watch around Halloween? Which ones can you watch like over and over again and never get tired of? Let us know, and that place is right below my face, and let me know. So moving on and wrapping out towards the end of the podcast, we're going to do the box office results for the weekend. Adam always do this with all my guests. I have them try to guess the top 5. Would you like to do the honors and try to guess the top 5 box office movies for the weekend?
Oh shit! I don't even know what's out. Oh, what's out right now? I didn't fucking know what's out.
Okay, I'll give you the new releases, and you can just kind of put them wherever. So, Keeping Up with the Joneses, Ouija 2, Jack Reacher 2, and Medea's Halloween.
Oh, fuck. Okay.
Kind of a bad weekend.
Oh man. All right. Number 1. I'll start with 4. 4. Medea might pull in money though. What was it? It was Ouija 2. Keep Up with the Joneses is 4.
Okay.
Medea's 3. Ouija and then Jack Reacher.
What do you think number 5 was?
Oh, what was the 5th movie you said?
Those were the only 4 that came out. Let me just give you 2 of the movies that have come out recently, like The Accountant and The Girl on the Train. Do you think one of those snuck in there?
Oh, probably The Accountant. Ah, fuck. I'm changing my order. All right. So we're going Keep Up with the Joneses is 5.
Okay.
Medea 4. Ouija 2, 3. Accountant, Jack Reacher.
Congratulations, Adam. You got none of them right. All right, so...
I suck.
All right,
I'm not good with that.
Yeah, that's okay, man. Like, listen, I have to look at the list because I'm terrible at it, too. So, number 7, actually, was Keeping Up with the Joneses. It came in at 7th place with $5 million. What a fucking bomb.
To be fair, I did say that was last on my list. To be fair.
That is true. So technically, if we are doing semantics, that is correct. Its
Price is Right rules.
Its budget is unknown, and it's got no worldwide numbers. But at $5 million, I'm gonna say that is a flop. So moving on to the top 5, number 5 with $7.2 million, The Girl on the Train. Didn't really care for it. Kind of hated it. Its budget is $45 million, and you guys know the rule. You got to double the budget to break even, then you got to add on P&A and marketing. So we're gonna say about $100 million for shits and giggles to break even. So right now, domestically, which is the U.S. and Canada, it's got $58 million, and worldwide it's got $104. So it's actually just crossed the break-even bar. So whatever. Number 4 with $14 million, actually coming in like $45,000 under the number 3 spot. So it was really close, and it might change on Monday. But as of right now, here are the numbers: 14.025. The Accountant came in at number 4. That's awesome that movie is doing very well. I enjoyed it quite a bit. Its budget is $44, double it, $88. P&A marketing, I'm saying $95. Right now, worldwide it's at $58. I think it'll do just fine. Number 3 with $14.06. So very, very close. Ouija 2. I actually thought that this one would be the number 1 of the weekend because PG-13 horror films always do better. And believe it or not, guys, I actually want to see Ouija 2 for the sheer fact that number 1 has a 7% on Rotten Tomatoes and number 2 has an 80. Like, what a fucking gap that is.
Wow.
So its budget, these horror films are made for very, very cheap. $9 million, so it needs to make about 18. I'm going to say 25. About 25 with all the P&A and marketing. Right now, worldwide, it's at 21. It'll do just fine because guess what? There's no fucking horror movies coming out this weekend for Halloween. Only the fucking Inferno movies. So guess what? Ouija's gonna fucking crush next week. Number 2, Jack Reacher 2 with $23 million. Its budget is $60 million. So with P&A and marketing, I'm gonna say about 130, maybe even 135. Right now, worldwide, it's at 54. So it's got a ways to go. Maybe it'll have legs. I'm not a huge fan of that, so whatever. And number 1, it made more money in its opening weekend than Birth of a Nation. So we all know where the priorities lie. Boo! A Medea Halloween with $27.6 million. What the fuck? I know some people that actually like it, so whatever, you do you. Its budget.
So that dude draws in.
He draws in crowds.
So
He's got
much.
fans.
It's weird.
Yeah, no, and listen, I just can't believe that, like, I don't get it. But, hey, listen, like I said, I can't really fault people for liking that shit because I have guilty pleasures too, folks. I like reality TV, so there's my one little secret, so I can't really get mad. Its budget is $20 million, so with marketing P&A, double that. I'm going to say about 50. It made 27. So, and with that said, with Ouija and Boo! A Medea Halloween going into Halloween weekend being the only fucking horror films, it's like, duh, they're going to have definitely a surplus next week, but after that, it'll probably dip. So, because then we have Doctor Strange coming out, which Adam and I are probably both looking forward to. So,
yes.
So that will do it for this week's episode, guys. Adam, I want to thank you for coming on, man. Where can the good people find you with your podcast in terms of like iTunes and stuff?
Yes. All right. So we're on iTunes. Nerds with Words. Just put that in the search. We just got flashy new podcast art, which looks pretty cool. So check that out. We're also on Libsyn.com. So it's going to be nerdswithwords.libsyn.com. We're on the Stitcher app, the Jabbercast app, something else too. Not important. That's enough. Our Twitter account, Nerds with Words 1, the number not spelled out. So Nerds with Words 1. You can email the podcast, nerdswithwordspodcast@gmail.com. And if you guys thought I was funny, which I hope you did, my Twitter account personally is @AdamNutter. Very simple.
Perfect.
That's it.
Yeah, no, and listen, guys, I rarely ever say this, but I honestly mean this. every time when someone sends me a link to a new podcast, I give it 30 seconds. If it does not hook me within 30 seconds, I will not continue listening to it. I actually listened to about half of one of Adam's episodes. I got a lot of stuff to do, but I got about halfway. It's not because I ditched it because I hated you. No, but I will finish it though, and I will continue to listen to new episodes because Adam does have kind of like that comedian flair to him, so he grabs your attention. Like he tells it how it is, and like I fucking love that. I don't like these openings that's like. Welcome to the movie podcast. Just
yeah, I agree.
It's like no, you gotta fucking be out there. You gotta do it. Just go for it. And some people are gonna be turned off by it. Some people are gonna enjoy it. So I really do like Adam's podcast, and will continue to listen. So you should too. And all of his links will be in the description below. So please go follow him, subscribe, tell him I sent you, send him a message, all that good stuff. And hopefully. And hopefully, if I keep bothering him, he'll put his shit on YouTube so he can get more
I know. Suck. I'll get it up. I promise I'll get it up.
So in 5 years,
I got a show coming up. Actually, I got fucking bumped off a show, which never happened before. I was kind of pissed about that. But I have another show coming up. I think next month. I have a few small ones that aren't important, but I think next month I'll be at Comedy Cabaret over in Bucks County, PA. And that's a pretty big comedy club, so I'm excited for that one.
Okay, so for all you...
I'll let everybody know on Twitter and stuff when I do it.
Yeah, so go follow him and be up to date on this stuff. So all you listeners on the East Coast, look out for that. Yeah, Adam, I want to thank you for coming on once again. And since I know that you are a comic book guru like I am, bro, we got 6 fucking movies coming out next year. I want to have you back on at least one of those.
Oh, dude, for sure, man. I had a great time. I'm really thank you for having me on, man. Absolutely, I'll definitely talk comic book shop anytime.
Awesome. And since we both had a hard on for Logan, that came out wrong, but whatever. Since we
dude, it's true. I did. I actually had a hard on the whole time I watched it.
The whole time while you're watching the trailer. Yeah, maybe Adam can come back on for when Logan comes out in March, and whatnot. And if since I know he's really good at this movie knowledge, he'll definitely come back on and let me know what you think about. Adam as well down below. And for me, guys, if you want to follow me on Twitter, it's @RealChaseLee. If you want to subscribe to my YouTube page for reviews, follow on Spreaker, iHeartRadio, iTunes, SoundCloud. You guys get the drill. I'm not one to push that social media shit. For next week, episode 153, I have Graham Zima from the Movie Madness podcast, and we will be discussing movies that you should watch around Halloween. Should be fun stuff because guess what? I don't want to see Inferno, so that's the episode you're going to get. So that will do it for this week's episode of Real Me and Colin, the movie podcast. And hey, listen, if you made it through this entire podcast and you were not a movie fan, well, hopefully Adam and I convinced you to be one. This is episode 152, guys. Peace out. The intro and outro music is done by my friends band Fervent Roze. Check them out. All the links in the description below. And speaking of them, let's play that music, son. Peace out.